sake of sending me $80 of promotional credits, we're going to go use and abuse the heck out of that today. I have the day off work because I work through the weekend. I got something called comp time. It's a thing in IT industries. It basically, if you work extra hours, then you get extra time off during the week when things quiet down after the fact. So we're going to do a whistle stop tour of next generation charging stations in the Carolinas, both in North Carolina and South Carolina. We're going to see some IONNA. We're going to see some Pilot Flying J canopies. We're going to see some Tesla superchargers up and coming at Cracker Barrels, and not the one here in my hometown. There's an additional one in South Carolina that we're going to go check out. And I might stop at the Mercedes-Benz high-powered charging at the Gaffney outlet malls just to see what the status of that station is. I haven't been there in a while. And actually, the mall blight was really what I want to check to see if that mall has started to recover. The Interstate 85 right outside there had been under construction for 2 years, so the mall was kind of suffering from patronage, but the interstate is now fully open, and I'm trying to see if that mall is starting to snap back a little bit, and it is right on my route on the way home. Have to get back in time in order to do the Coast to Coast live stream tonight with Eric and Steve, special guest Jacob. So let's go ahead and get going. There's a ton of things to see today. Okay, before we get started, and it is going to be a beautiful day. This is the time of year where the Carolinas really shine, this November, December time of the year. It's just beautiful. It's supposed to be in the mid-70s. It's going to be sunny, just a beautiful day. I'm only going to be charging at EVgo because of those promotional credits, and I inadvertently confirmed that those EVgo credits work at Pilot Flying J. When I was cruising back from the out-of-spec flying car gig in Garysburg, North Carolina, I think it was middle of last week, I stopped to just do a quick splash and dash in order to make it all the way home at a Pilot Flying J. And when I got home, I noticed that the amount was zero, and I didn't really see until later that there was a credit applied to my account at that time, and it had deducted from there. So I'm for sure able to charge at Pilot Flying J for free using those promotional credits. Now, there is some ambiguity about the whole General Motors 10% discount deal working at Pilot Flying J. Specifically on EVgo, it says they do not extend to the Pilot Flying J locations. It actually says that in there, but someone chimed into one of my videos saying that they actually saw on the invoice after charging at Pilot Flying J a 10% discount being applied. So either the communication was wrong, or there was a technical glitch, or that person might not have understood what they were looking at correctly. That's still to be determined, but for sure the $80 promotional credit that everyone who is a GM owner got extended does work at Pilot Flying J. So as you're cruising around through the holidays, if you want to use those credits at the Pilot Flying J, should be just fine. All right, so I'm in Concord, North Carolina, my hometown, where the good folks at IONNA are putting them in the station, and this thing is moving rapid fast. There's a transformer over there. There's a guy. I'm going to go talk to him to see if it's okay for me to do video, but all the asphalt. Let's go take a look at the station. All right, so as I said, we got a transformer on ground. It is a 2500 kVA transformer, 480-277, three-phase, right down there, 2500. She's a big girl. Let's kind of zoom out a little bit. And what amazes me, I was just here, as I said, when I went to the out-of-spec Cars and Coffee, I stopped by here just to take a look, and none of this asphalt was down. All the asphalt is laid. The lines are painted. I mean, serious progress going on in here. We got a tree in place. That tree was not there before. We now have a tree planted. We got landscaping. And I'll show you there's gravel down. I mean, they are really, really freaking moving. Those bollards were not there either. Those were installed and the orange caps put in place. Let's kind of walk around the site. There's the big transformer. You can see very obvious pedestal for canopy coming. That is major concrete. Now, I do know from IONNA, we got the trash receptacles and the squeegee cans. You know from IONNA, they don't like you touching their chargers until they're commissioned. So I'm not going to touch any of the chargers, and I recommend anyone who is listening to this video, if you go to an IONNA site that is not yet open, I've heard from them, they do not like you touching their chargers until the station is actually open. But as I said, let's look at this. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 NACs, and you can see the Amphenol cables. The signage, EV charging only, no wah-wah concessions here. This is EV charging only. And as I mentioned, they got this nice river stone or whatever kind of stone this is, marble or something, laid down here. Looks very pretty. The landscaper, or the landscape architect, really did a good job because this was all vacated land, but man, they did a good job. I understand this stone is actually hard to come by. Kind of curious where they found it, but very nice looking. More trees. And as I was thinking, ingress and egress pathing for this station. And more trees, more Alpitronic hyperchargers. It's Christmas in November here in Concord. My goodness, look at this. I can't wait for the canopy to show up. I was kind of thinking I might see a canopy being delivered, because the way that works is they bring them on flatbed trucks and then put them on site, and then they get the crews to actually install the canopy. And this one definitely looks ready to go. As you see, the canopy foundations are all poured and in place. Alpitronic hyperchargers waiting to juice people up. This is one exciting, beautiful sight. My goodness. And I was going to crack out the drone, but we got a little bit of light drizzle coming from I don't know where, because there's not really clouds above me. So we'll have to do droning at the other locations. So the future is now here in Concord, North Carolina. We welcome IONNA with open arms. Super exciting, at a very nice location off Branchview. And I know I've shown this site before, but you'll have to allow me to not curb my enthusiasm about how exciting this is for me to have a 16-stall IONNA rechargery getting plopped in to my hometown with canopies, Alpitronics, garbage can squeegees, and all the fixings. All right, let's hit the road. More places to go see. Isn't that nice? The little bit of rain that I was talking about is producing a rainbow in order for welcoming us to this grand adventure. All right, let's hit the road. In my hometown, I'm changing that decision. I just want to see the progress, because last time I was there, it was getting close to being done. It had the transformer in place as well. So let's go take a look at that one. And the reason why I'm excited about Tesla Supercharger at Cracker Barrel is that partnership in particular really is terrific. Unlike a convenience store like a Sheetz or something like that, Cracker Barrel is a little bit more upscale. Plus, they are always right off an interstate exit, which makes them terrific travel stops. And you can, I don't know if I would be able to finish a meal sitting down. I'd have to go out and not to avoid the idle fees. But being able to swoop in there, have a meal, and then I probably have to reposition my car halfway through the country fried steak dinner or whatever I was having would be a thing. And also being able to use the restrooms that are open very wide hours and peruse the country store, get some sundries, candy, snacks, drinks, whatever out of the country store. It's just a really good partnership. So I definitely want to go highlight that. There's another one in South Carolina that we're going to go take a look at, but let's go take a look at the one here in Concord first.
At the light, turn left onto Bruden-Smith Boulevard.
Okay, before we get started, I just want to quickly touch base on Cracker Barrel as a host for a charging station. Now, I'm sure most people are familiar with who Cracker Barrel is, but if not, let's go ahead and go inside and take a look. Kind of like I'd call it a hokey kind of country store feel. Let's go inside. All right. Inside is like that. Charging station that we have designed here, and although people would like to think that Tesla superchargers are all kind of cookie cutter, drop it in super fast, there's a lot of specialized design for every site. So we can't just drop in a McDonald's in a blank plot of land for a Tesla supercharger that's going into a Cracker Barrel. You need to have specific designs. And this one is really nice. Look, we got the characteristic Tesla garbage cans here, which is interesting. We got a pull through, and I don't know if you all can see it, but way over there is the exit off Interstate 85, just past my car, which makes this probably about less than a quarter mile from the exit. So once this opens, it's gonna get used all the time. And I tell you what, if I'm cruising down the road and I know I got a V4 Tesla supercharger station with the nice long cables, so I don't have to worry about taking up 2 stalls, right off the interstate exit at a Cracker Barrel where I know there's clean, well-maintained restrooms with a country store that has various things that I may want in order to get refreshment or be able to sit down and have a full table service meal. I don't know. That sounds pretty damn good. It used to be the Tesla supercharger team would kind of look for locations that were, I don't know how to describe it, could serve the purpose of supporting locals as well as road trippers. And oftentimes when I was doing road trips in a Tesla, when I was a Tesla owner, I would have to drive a good mile or 2 off the interstate in order to get to the supercharger station. But definitely not here. The interstate is right there. The facility is right here. The partner facility is right there. Oh, you can see firewood. We're getting ready for Christmas season. And so they're going to fire up the fireplace in Cracker Barrel. Always nice ambience. And brand new technology. 4 cabinets. How many stalls? So that would be, what, 16? That's 4 per cabinet. Yeah, so 16. As I said, we already have the pad mount transformer. Let's see how big of a transformer it is. Well, this is new grass. I don't want to walk on the new grass. They did a good job of putting that in place. I'm not going to stomp my inconsiderate boots all over their grass. But I can see right now that is a 1500 kVA transformer servicing 16 stalls. It seems a little bit undersized, but I'm sure they have their reasoning for that. And all new landscape grass going in around. They have, it looks like they put in that light themselves. That does not look like a Cracker Barrel light, because Cracker Barrel has different style of lights. So these look to be Tesla supercharger installed lights, which is unusual. I have not seen them do that before. That's interesting. And there's another one there. And it looks to have a Wi-Fi device connected to it. I don't know if that's available to the public once the station opens or not. But I don't know. Kudos to the Tesla supercharger team for this one. And this isn't the only one. There's going to be another one in South Carolina that we'll get to in just a second. But here in Concord, North Carolina, at the Cracker Barrel on Bruton Smith, if people are familiar with this area, reason why this exit is very popular is the exit to get into the Charlotte Motor Speedway, which is the signature NASCAR track. Very heavily populated with tourists going to various motorsports events. And you'll now be able to pull in here, assuming they open it up to non-Teslas, which I believe they're going to, and get a really good charge. There's also a McDonald's right there. There's a Ruby Tuesdays. I'm kind of a fan of the baby back ribs and Ruby Tuesdays, but I mean, lots of options here. And across the street, there's a Mexican restaurant. And this building right here was a restaurant that got abandoned, and now it is a Indian restaurant. People might not be aware, but there are a lot of my fellow technologists from India who have relocated here to Charlotte, North Carolina in order to support some of the technology in the banks. And there's a very vibrant Indian community and culture. And this is a restaurant that is very frequented by Indian nationals. Jack in the Box over there. And I think there's one more I mean, this place is really restaurant central as a result of being close to the track, but just tons of options. This is one nice station. I don't know. I think for site selection, this is one beautiful place. And as I've mentioned multiple times, there is a Tesla supercharger station at the Starbucks in Concord, which is just down. So this road is Bruton Smith Boulevard that turns into Concord Mills Boulevard. It's basically one road. And you basically just go maybe 2 miles down past the Concord Mills Mall, and then you run into a road called Dorita. And then right there's a Starbucks where there's another Tesla supercharger station. So very close, 2 miles apart from each other. 2 V4 dispenser stations. And that shows a pretty high level of commitment from Tesla in order to build out the infrastructure in this area. All right, time to head back on the road and go to the next location. A rechargery in the greater Charlotte area in a town called Rock Hill, South Carolina, which has basically been swallowed up by the greater
southeast on Lyles Lane northwest toward Fireball Roberts
Charlotte metropolitan area. And we're up here on the northern end of Charlotte. We're going to the southern end of Charlotte, to Rock Hill. Let's go. This is the IONNA station on Cherry Road in Rock Hill, South Carolina. And there is a Cherry Road exit off Interstate 77. It's about a mile away. So it's a bit of a stretch off the interstate in order to get here, not immediately off the interstate, but it's in a good shopping center. Let's go and walk around. To the station itself, let's talk about some of the amenities. Immediately adjacent, there is a nice looking Chick-fil-A. It looks like it's a bigger Chick-fil-A than normal. And there's also a Dunkin' Donuts right over there. We have an Italian restaurant on this side, and otherwise no other eateries. So, well, maybe there's one over here, a Latin restaurant it looks like. And let's take a look at the charging station itself. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's the same number of stalls as the one that we were at in Concord, North Carolina, where we started off. And you can see there's a canopy going down the middle. So same number of stalls. And so instead of 2 canopies being on either side, this is going to be 1 canopy in the middle with 16 stalls. Alpitronics in the ground. The foundations for the canopies are framed up, but the concrete is not poured yet. Right in the middle, in some kind of prime parking spaces for this mall. So it's nice that the mall allowed it to get so close. It's a pretty freaking good spot. So I would say this is kind of like a mix between people doing road tripping and locals, because it looks like this mall is a pretty revitalized area of the community. If you just look at the number of cars in the parking lot. Now there's a school for cosmetology over here, which a lot of people seem to be going into. So that might be what most of these cars are for. I don't know. There's also a armed services recruitment office. But so instead of like a normal strip mall, it seems like more of a business center area that's been converted. A lot of the mall blight that has hit strip malls, they've found a way to reinvent themselves. So locals as well as road trip, as I said, about a mile off Interstate 77. But man, look at all those pretty Alpitronic hyperchargers. We got people here working on the chargers themselves. We got switchgear in place. Let me zoom into that real quick. No transformer as of yet, as far as I could tell. Let's go walk around just a little bit more. I see where the transformer pad, waiting for delivery of service. I'm not sure who the local utility is out here in South Carolina, but tons of chargers. Yes, sir. Plenty to do. And we are just making tons of progress with building out extensive charging stations in a short amount of time. And while I'm making this video, IONNA is actually doing a whistle-stop tour of their own in the state of California. So this is not just the only area of the country, although it's where I live, it seems to be the one that's getting the most treatment. But this is not the only area of the country. They're basically doing full send. Everywhere they can get stations in, they seem to have motivation, means, motive, and opportunity in order to do so. So this is what it looks like in Rock Hill, South Carolina. We got 8 Alpitronic hyperchargers in the ground in the process of getting worked on. waiting for transformer delivery. Let's go ahead and head to the next stop, which will be a Flying J a little bit up the road, also in Rock Hill, South Carolina. All right, this is the Flying J in southern Rock Hill, South Carolina off Interstate 77. And in the Wayback Machine, in the initial coming soon map, this location was one of the pips. Can't tell you how many times I've been here looking for any signs of construction. It's a beautiful spot. As you can see, there's tons of space. Like in here, very likely they could put a charging station. Over here, there's other areas for charging stations, but just nothing. Strange thing is that the state of South Carolina has had a ferocious number of stations opened up by Pilot Corp, but for some reason, this has been passed over, and I'm not sure why. Sure looks like a beautiful location. Really not a lot of charging else around here. I mean, across the street there is a 2-stall station at a GPM Investments run facility, but man, it just don't compete with the big guns at Pilot Flying J. Inside there is a really nice convenience store. The Denny's did shut down, and I was kind of thinking that once the electric vehicle charging station opened, it might revitalize it a little bit, but for some reason they've chosen not to move forward as far as I could tell, and no indication still of any construction. Let's go ahead and head on out to one of the stations that I was talking about that did open. It's a canopy pull-through pilot station that just opened in the capital of South Carolina, Columbia. Eric Way, who runs the News Coulomb YouTube channel, has authored the News Coulomb site review method, of which I use in order to review stations. And this one checks so many boxes. I mean, just look at it. It's got pull-through. It's right off the interstate. It's got an attached facility open 24/7, 365. It's got squeegees. It's got trash cans. Right in the heart of the capital of South Carolina. This, ladies and gentlemen, is beautiful. Like if we looked at the IONNA stations, they didn't have attached facilities. They were in shopping malls that relied on other businesses in order to provide amenities. The Tesla supercharger was directly in a Cracker Barrel, which is a really good partner. So you could argue that that is a step above the IONNA stations, and they had trash cans, but no canopy. This has a canopy that's pull-through with a 24/7, 365 facility attached with 350 kilowatt capable dispensers and 750 kVA transformer, which is pretty common for Pilot Flying J. And I got here with 55% state of charge. I don't really need a charge, but let's go ahead and plug in. What the heck, right? No reason not to. It is free, considering I got the $80 deal from EVgo. Plugged in. Payment has been authorized. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right. So I'm going to go into the facility, walk around. Oh, they got a full Denny's also. The thing about this Denny's I saw on the sign pulling in is open 24/7, 365. So it's not only a sit-down restaurant in the attached facility, but it's also open. You can go in there at 2 o'clock in the morning and get yourself a fresh made apple crisp or a plate of pancakes or whatever else you want from the Denny's. So as the car charges with free electrons courtesy of EVgo's $80 deal, I'm going to go in and look around a little bit. Let me just make... Okay, past 80%, pulling in 65 kilowatts. We've been going for 21 minutes. It says the estimated charge, and I will confirm with the receipt after I finish here that that gets zeroed out as a result of my credit, which is what happened at the last time. I think we're about ready to cruise on down the road to the next stop. And just to mention about the IONNA station that we were at last time, I said it was about a mile off the interstate, and I actually have to correct myself because on the way back, it was actually only half a mile. So that is better. A mile is actually a bit of a stretch. Half a mile is actually not too bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up here. Let's go ahead and click out of that session. Get back on the road. All right, so it would have been $12. Let's see how much this station costs for people who don't have $80 credits sitting in their EVgo account. $0.53 per kilowatt hour under normal circumstances. All right, see you at the next stop. So we're definitely seeing a very nice looking pattern that's forming. We are immediately off an interstate, and strangely enough, there's another Tesla supercharger just probably half a mile down the road. So kind of like the last Cracker Barrel that we were at, where there was a Tesla supercharger 2 miles down the road. This one has a Tesla supercharger that's about half a mile down the road. And this one's closer to the interstate exit. In fact, the interstate exit is right freaking there. It's very heavily traveled portion of the city. So let me walk you around what we have. And the drone is not playing nice, so I'm going to have to spin you around a little bit. Let me guess. 16? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so 16 stalls, just like the other one. V4 dispensers with trash cans, with PSUs, the preformed supercharger units that are precast, just dropped in place. We have one that's off to the side over here, and just like the last place, we have one pull-through stall all the way over here. Very common in Cracker Barrels to have the longer parking spaces for people with big RVs or trucks that are hauling trailers in order for them to be accommodated, and one of them has been repurposed for an EV charging stall for similar people who are going in trailers. Very nice. An additional 2 stalls here, one of them handicapped accessible. So 16 stalls in total, immediately off the interstate at a Cracker Barrel property. So Cracker Barrel being the host. And again, what is nice about that is multiple things. One of which is Cracker Barrel's hours being pretty widespread, and well-maintained restrooms, 1500 kVA transformer. The quasi-quirky convenience store that is the country store, plus the full-service restaurant, and the location being immediately off the interstate exit for easy ingress, egress for people doing road trips. Very, very impressive. And again, I can't say how impressed I am with Tesla Supercharger's site selection and their partnership with Cracker Barrel, and what may benefit in the future should this keep up. Because Cracker Barrel's been going through a bit of a brand identity crisis. I don't know if you'd call it a crisis, but they've been struggling, trying to reinvent themselves. And I think a partnership with Tesla will really reinvigorate them, at least to some degree. So, especially assuming Tesla opens their superchargers to all EVs, which I'm assuming this one is going to be. And very impressive. All right, so next stop, I believe I will be going to just get a couple of extra free electrons before heading on home, because why not? And then we'll be heading to a IONNA station in Greer, South Carolina. Okay, this one's going to be a little bit tricky to put into context on video, just because the fencing surrounding the property is kind of obstructive, but necessarily so because we're right next to a very busy Wendy's. But I'll do the best I can. All right, I'm going to shoot a drone up to see if I can't show you how close we are, but ignore the black smoke. You can see the 85 entrance ramp signs right there, and here's the site. So probably not even a quarter mile from the interstate, and just over, if you look at that QT sign right there, is this side of the interstate. Just on the other side of the interstate is what is known as the BMW Performance Center, or where they make the iX and a few other BMW vehicles here in Spartanburg, South Carolina. But let me see if I can't zoom in. We got canopy action. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for a total of 12 stall Alpitronics in the ground. Very nice looking canopy. Switch gear, no transformer yet. You can see where the transformer is going to go right there. And kind of similar to what we've been seeing at other IONNA sites. I'm guessing dual ingress egress zipping around, and I'm not quite sure what they're going to use this space for, if it's just going to be landscaping or if they're going to actually do something with it. But we are right next to a Wendy's, so that will be the anchor facility. You can see right there, that's the Wendy's, and that will be who will probably take care of servicing the garbage cans, squeegees, and allowing access into the restrooms. Oh, we got IONNA action on the canopy. Let me see if I can't get that in frame. There we go. So very nice looking canopy. In South Carolina during the summertime, heat is the major thing that you're combating. And so it'll be definitely helpful for that. Something the TesSC Supercharger didn't have over at the Cracker Barrel. But let me go ahead and throw the drone up and see if I can't get some of those shots. Nice facility attached here. They got the Wendy's and the convenience store. I just got myself an apple and some Mountain Dew Voltage raspberry. It's been a while since I've had one of these. That's all I have for you today. I hope you were getting what I was trying to convey. A whole bunch of next generation EV charging stations coming here to the Carolinas. And we're talking North Kakalaki and South Carolina. South Carolina is deep south. So if there's this kind of activity going on here, there's got to be going on elsewhere, right? So holidays are upon us. You all are going to be traveling. If you're in a General Motors car, you got $80 or $85, depending on who you are, who you know. I don't really know how they judge that. To spend free of charge at EVgo stations like this. Venture around. There's got to be some of these Alpitronic stations going in. And TesSC Superchargers at Cracker Barrel. Super easy to do an EV road trip now. Really enjoyable. But I do have one bonus station. On the way home, I'm going to stop off at the Mercedes-Benz high-powered charging station at the Gaffney outlets just to kind of scope it out. I'll close out with just some flyover drone shots or something just to see how the station is doing, and also whether or not the mall has that mall blight kind of reversed trended already with, you know, the upcoming holiday shopping rush and whatnot. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.